Dear listener or viewer, we are not pastors, we are not scholars, and we are definitely not perfect. We're just a family sitting around a breakfast table trying to put God in the middle of our everyday lives. You might see a little chaos, a lot of questions, and probably some spilled apple juice, but you're always welcome here. This is the Bible Breakfast Club. Welcome back. If you are new here, I'm Casey.
I'm Steven.
And we're the Tucker family. And today we're going to talk about something every family is dealing with. And that's screens, phones, TV, all of the things, tablets. They're not going anywhere. And we have to learn how to disciple our families with them being in the picture.
Yeah, we have to figure out how to balance it because we've tried it multiple times just to go not use it, but it'll still seem to seep into the lives.
So the question, is it us or is it the screen?
Yeah, because you'll watch a lot of videos on YouTube and you'll start seeing their reactions in the normal world. And you're trying to figure out if that's something that came from you or did they learn that from the screens? Because depending on what they watch, because they could have bad attitudes and well, did that come from us disciplining or did it come from something they watched?
I don't think bad attitudes come from discipline. I definitely think that the screens, because we've watched it in Michael particularly. Grant's had his moments too where he's had too much time on the screen, whether it's TV, the tablet, the phone, and they just turn into a different person. They are
It's almost
angry.
like the red dye of entertainment.
Yeah, yeah.
But combine that with red dye and entertainment, it's pretty bad.
But I don't think that going the extreme opposite way is good either. I think they can be a good tool. Screens can be a great tool. I don't think they should be an outlet for coping or learning how to regulate your emotions. Screens aren't a bad thing in moderation. I think they can be used as a tool. Like during homeschool, we've been using the screen for educational purposes. And I have apps that are like the kids' Bible apps that it's interactive and they can like read the story of the Bible. And so I don't think screens are necessarily all bad. I think it's just in moderation.
And moderation in like what you're actually watching.
Yeah, what you're putting into your mind, because what you put into your mind really is it's formative. You know, screens are formative, and what you're putting into your mind can shape who you're going to be in a way. Like how you're going to act, how you're going to dress, because there's so much information out there that it's just like overload for these kids.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, for instance, my story, I watched a lot of screen time with Vodi Bakum, which was a very influence into my Christian life. So it can be beneficial in ways, but it can also be abused in a lot of ways.
Well,
So,
yeah, because you see these kids who are on their tablets all the time, and it shapes what they love, what they fear, and what they value. So, like I said just a little bit ago, I mean, it can alter who they are because they're trying to keep up with the people on the screen. Whether it's Grant's new favorite one is Topper.
yeah, Topper is an interesting character. I mean, I get his why kids like him, but
Yeah.
he's pushing the border. That's why.
He's kind of funny and he does some outlandish things, but we're gonna have to monitor that one. Also, Mr. Beast, he loves Mr. Beast.
Mr. Beast, I don't see too much of an issue
From
with
what
him.
I've seen, Mr. Beast was doing some good things. I'm not sure he's a Christian. I'm not sure his faith values, but
I
it
don't think
wasn't.
he doesn't have any bad influence to.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it was a bad influence, but we're going to monitor that one as well. And every account, every show, video, and algorithm is telling a story. And you could be, I mean, I've seen it where you'll be scrolling and then all of a sudden Instagram or YouTube will show you some random video that you didn't even click on or anything, and it's a negative influence. It's not a good one. And you're like, how did this even get on my algorithm?
I've noticed that recently because my algorithm is pretty generally it's all face based, but I have noticed that the later I'm on, then next thing I'll notice none of that stuff I've been watching starts showing up.
Well, Pastor Luke said that nighttime scrolling is way different than
Yeah,
daytime scrolling. Nighttime scrolling is a little bit darker. It's a little bit scarier. And so that's why for parents of teens, it's so important for them to take those screens away at a
I
certain hour.
recommend early.
I really recommend. And I mean, I'm not a parent of teens, but I've been around teens. I've helped raise my niece and nephew, and they're teens now. One's 18 now, and they don't live anywhere near me now because I've moved. But when they were little, I mean,
You can still see how it influences it.
yeah,
Kids.
you can watch it. My niece and nephew are wonderful children, and they were sweet and kind, but there were, I mean, moments where attitudes would fly, which is normal for kids. But I think their parents did a good job monitoring the screens, which Weston, my nephew, he wasn't one to watch
Screen.
TV or do much on the screen.
I don't
Still
remember.
is not to this day, from what I know.
He's gonna be outside doing
He's
something.
too active, and which is a very good thing. A very good thing. But I don't think discipleship is competing with screens. I think
It
it's
can be
competing.
used.
Well, I think it's competing with the formativeness of screens.
Yes. Yeah.
So we have to be real diligent as parents to make sure that we're pouring into our children the truth.
And my biggest thing is don't let when you do come across the negative ones that when they try to focus you, don't let it deter you or put you in a bad mood. I mean, that's pretty much what happened this morning. I keep scrolling, I'm seeing some stuff, and it changes my whole mood. It's a
Hmm.
great mood, still in a pretty good mood, but don't let it get to you too often.
Well, if we don't disciple our kids, someone else is going to. So
True.
it's our job to disciple them and to really monitor their screen time. I think monitoring your children's screen time, monitoring your own screen time.
English is hard, I know.
It is hard, okay? But yeah, going back to discipleship, you can't outsource that. You can't rely on the church. You can't rely on other parents. You can't rely on kids at school. Or
Yeah, like daycare at church for some parents.
you cannot rely on those things. You have to be the one to do it. As a parent, we have been given the responsibility and the ministry of being a parent. And that's a big job to steward.
And it took us a while to understand that too.
Well, when we were new parents, we weren't following Jesus the way we should have been.
No,
You
but
weren't even a believer.
when we started church,
And yeah, so I mean, for us, we did not do everything right. We did a lot wrong.
we did a lot wrong, but
But
I've said this multiple times. So, like, God's going, regardless of how you do it, God's going to make you. He's going to put you on that path some way.
he will redeem. He redeems us in, through, and despite our faults. Because we are going to mess up as humans. We are born to mess up,
We're pretty much designed from day one. We messed up.
to sin. Let's call it what it is. It's sin, okay? I mean, yeah, we're born to sin. Let's talk about filters. So filters are helpful. What do you think? What do you think about filters?
And what concept?
I mean, there's so many different kinds. So, filter like AI can be a filter.
Controls and stuff.
Yeah, like that. Or like even the filters on Instagram and Snapchat, these girls and boys are
Oh,
changing
those
the way
type
they
of
look.
filters. Yeah,
Well, I'm not just talking about those, but AI can be
anything
a
that.
filter
Oh,
too.
yeah.
That's like making you look good. And don't get me wrong, I use some Chat GPT to help me out with some things.
ChatGPT helps us out with a
But
lot of things.
I do think we have to be careful how we use Chat GPT.
Yeah, because GPT is also biased.
It is
It's
biased.
going to answer what you want.
Yep.
And you had to step back and like, oh, hold up, maybe not. But yeah, filters, I don't like them because it's just deceiving for one, and it allows people to be something they're not, which is not themselves.
Yeah. I think it's
It can be fun when you do like party stuff, but when you're changing your look for appreciation or acceptance, then it's not.
yeah, I think they're a helpful tool at times. I don't think they are a good tool to use to shape your heart. I think they can be deceiving. And nothing on the internet is real, guys. Nothing on the internet. Okay, I won't say nothing. Very little on the internet is real. There's not much out there that is. It's got some kind of filter on it in some way.
Yeah, we kind of have to do that. We're doing that with the light.
Well, yeah, you have to. And again, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm
Yeah.
not saying like don't listen to this person because they use Chat GPT.
Yeah. We're
Because
just saying be cautious.
just be cautious and just know that the Bible should be your go-to source for all things because it's the truth and it's active living and it speaks to us now like it did
Then
2,000 years ago.
it's still it never changes.
Never changes. So Instagram changes, TikTok changes, YouTube changes daily. The algorithm is constantly changing. And the way we have to post things as content creators now is changing constantly. We have to keep up with trends because trends are changing daily.
Well, if you're listening, we're not trying to keep up with trends. That's the whole point of this podcast.
Yeah.
It says we're sticking to
But
what we know.
what I'm saying is like as far as trends, like in order to get our content pushed out into the algorithm, you do have to kind of follow some trends as far as like how you post things. You know, I'm not saying like trends aren't bad. Again, they're another filter.
That's a hard concept for me to follow. You know this.
I think you take it too
I do.
extreme. Trends aren't bad. I think wanting to follow someone who is doing good is not a bad thing. But it's when you start idolizing that person. I think that's where you think where your brain
that
comes in.
sets the trend.
What?
You're talking about idolizing the person that sets the trend.
Yeah. Yeah. Or just idolizing the trend in general, like just making it your whole personality.
Yeah.
That's been a big issue with teens lately.
I mean, that's the issue.
They will.
All teens.
What was it?
We had the same thing when we were kids.
But what? Well, yeah, I'm not talking about just this generation. I'm talking about all generations.
Yeah.
But what was it we were talking about like a month or so ago in Life Group? There's a T-shirt or a sweatshirt. It's super basic. What's it say? It says a name or something, someone's name, and they're selling it for like $200.
Yeah, just because it's the thing to get right now.
Like, can I put my name on a sweatshirt and sell it for $200?
That'd be nice. That'd be very useful.
I'm not going to do that,
But see, why can't we use that? Like, or I was gonna say, put God's name on it and sell it and donate that money. I mean, that'd be nice.
that would be yeah, I like that concept. I'm going to make my own sweatshirt and put my
Sell
name on
it.
it.
$200. 90% of it goes to the church.
There you go. What does discipleship look like in conversations, not just in restrictions? So instead of just restricting all social media and all screens, how do we allow our children to use screens but have the daily conversations of discipleship? That what you see on the screen is not necessarily a real thing. We're learning that with AI, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to see a lot of AI pictures, videos, and you have to kind of look at it. Sometimes I get tricked and I'm like, that's funny, but and then you're like, AI.
Yeah, I can.
Like,
yeah, I usually have to. It can be pretty tricky, but sometimes you can kind of tell.
But how do we have these conversations with our children where we have to tell them like, hey, that's not real, but Jesus is. Jesus is real.
Yeah, that's a difficult question, being mainly because the number one issue people have is they don't see it, right?
Yeah.
And same thing when you see the AI stuff, they see it, and to them that is real because it's visual. But when you describe Jesus and they don't visually see, it's hard to disciple. But I did see recently a one-way description that just because you don't see it, doesn't mean it's not there. Same thing like air. You don't see air, but you know it's there because you're breathing.
I don't think it's us asking, like, what are they watching? I think it's more of us asking, what are they learning to think from what they are watching? Again, going back to what they watch forms who they are in a way. It
can, yes.
It
definitely.
can.
I mean, you said a minute ago, the whole Mr. Beast himself, right? He started basically he is the king of YouTube because he watched YouTube. Now he is what he is because of YouTube. As soon as he's watching stuff and becoming that person and became that person.
And again, I don't think it's necessarily bad. It can be used as a good tool because we're using YouTube. We're using these platforms, but we're using it. I pray that God is leading this platform and that it's not about me or you or our children or someone else's children. It's about God and glorifying Him in everything that we do.
Yeah, we're just trying to help people realize that you don't have to be the Joe Rogans of the world to talk about anything.
Right. And again, if we step on anybody's toes, I'm going to apologize, but I'm not going to apologize.
That's true. Yes. Not everybody's going to agree.
You don't have to agree with us, but coming from two parents who are going through, we're in the trenches ourselves, and we're not experts.
Definitely not. We're just having a conversation.
We're not experts. So, again, I'm disclosing that right now. We're not experts. We're just going off of what we know as parents of young children.
And what we're learning.
Yeah,
on
and
the
what
way.
we're learning. So, practical discipleship with screens. Like, what could we do? What are some ways we could disciple our kids with screens in the picture? Because they're not going anywhere. Like we said at the beginning, they're here to stay. I mean, and let's talk about this. You and I come from a generation, we're millennials, right? We're the last generation that saw a world that played outside, right? But we're the first generation to see where screens came from and where they've taken us, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know
Unfortunately,
that I explained that
yeah.
correctly, but we're
Yes.
like this
Because like
weird
our kids,
generation,
our kids don't know a world without screens.
right? We know a world without screens and with screens. My dad hated screens.
Still hates them.
Still hates them. 2 hours a day, that's all he has on his phone. I'm like, that is impressive. I wish I could get to that. I'm going to get to that.
We were doing well with the brick. Brick is a good tool if you
Also,
discipline
this is
yourself.
not sponsored. Brick is awesome. If you don't have a brick, I highly recommend getting one. It does work if you use it.
Yeah. I set
That's
mine.
on me though.
I'll set an alarm for mine every other day. I need to do it every day between certain times, and I'll be in. Well, we'll be in the middle of the store, and my phone just shuts off. I'm like, oh yeah, but the good thing about it is you can't unlock it until you get home, so it forces you.
Unless you do an emergency. For real, words are hard today.
Emergency.
Emergency. Emergency. Dang, can you tell I'm living in Mississippi now?
It's starting. It's starting to see you.
Anyways, okay, so brick, really good tool, I think, for parents, for teens especially.
Especially.
And this again is not sponsored. I will put a link in the description of the podcast. So wherever you're streaming, you can click the link and you can purchase a brick if you are looking for something to help. So I feel like this topic hits really close to home, especially with our kids, because they are watching us and they're at that pivotal age of watching us, like, and not just us. Again, they're being formed by the screens, like Grant doing the 6-7 thing now. Like he didn't do that last year.
He used to not like it.
And now all of a sudden it's all, and oh, calling me bruh.
Yeah, bro, it's pretty. He got that from Topper.
See?
Yeah, well, it hit me hard. Let's see, a couple weeks ago, we were sitting there reading the Bible or watching TV, and we turned the TV off. Or when we turned the TV off, me and you were still on our phones, right? And then Michael gets mad, and he's like, "Well, no TV, no phone."
He's right though.
And he's like, he's right, but it made me click. I was like, yeah, we're trying to set an example of not wanting them to have screen time, but they're also watching us and noticing we're on screen time. So we need to learn to.
Yeah, that goes back to the brick thing. Like, how often are we on our phones? Going back to the brick, and using our brick and monitoring our screen time by doing that because he's right and he's 4.
Yeah, and he's recognized the issue.
So obviously, you and I have a problem, and we need to work on that. And so, see, even we have our own struggles, and we are not perfect. And again, we're not experts on this topic. We're just having a conversation about it because we know that there's a problem within our own home, and we figured there's probably the parents out there that are also struggling with the same issue. Also, do we look more engaged with screens than other people? Like when we go out in public, I have been trying to put my phone down more.
I would like to believe so because even last night at our anniversary dinner, by the way, 5 years, I was sitting there watching around just while we are talking and seeing who was on the screen. We were a little bit, but not necessarily like, I don't know,
I feel like we did pretty well.
We did pretty well.
And that's not patting myself on the back because I have a problem.
Yeah, I have a problem also, but I did notice a lot of people in the restaurant also there were also people that had really good conversations with each other. So you can see the difference in that aspect because the people who were on the phone weren't talking, the ones that were not on the phone were all engaging. So it shows that you just need to put it down.
Yeah. It's really hard to call our kids to something when we're not practicing it ourselves. Like Mikey calling us out on the phone thing.
It's true. It again, going back to that, it really hits you hard when a 4-year-old's correcting you.
But discipleship starts with modeling our life. And so when he corrected us, it was a conviction from the Holy Spirit. Like, because I believe the Holy Spirit will use our children to
He
convict
will.
us.
He'll use
And that was the Holy Spirit saying, hey,
you stop.
you need to get off your phone and pay attention to your children. But that is one thing I've been working on this year, and I'm not great at it still, is when they talk to me, when Grant and Michael come up and talk to me, putting the phone down, looking them in the eye, giving them that attention because I want them to feel respected. And how are we supposed to call them to respect others if they're sitting there doing this the whole time?
See, I agree with that. At the same time, though, when is it too much? Because there will be times where
Well, I think there's boundaries.
where they keep coming and going and going, like keep asking, asking,
Yeah.
asking, asking, even though we put the phone down and help.
Well, okay, and I think here's where that comes into play. Like if we're doing work, right?
Hmm.
Because we have to work, we have to do things where it's a moment of, hey, bud, mommy and daddy are doing some work right now. Give us about 10 to 15 minutes. We'll come talk to you. That way we can give you our full attention. But explaining to them, because they can understand, explaining to them, hey, I have other priorities too, and this helps provide for our family in some way, or it's very important because it glorifies God in some way. But just like when I'm doing my Bible study, hey, bud, I know you have a question right now. Let me finish this chapter or this sentence, depending on where I'm at, and I'll get I'll come give you my full attention. Just getting to a stopping point is really important and explaining them and talking to them like they're a person and not just being like, wait, just 1 minute and yelling at them.
True. I do realize that when we do that, right, when we make the stopping point, when
Oh,
we get to it, we should actually do what they're asking. And that makes sense. Like some people will say, "Hey, give me 5 minutes," right? And then after the 5 minutes, it'll be an hour later,
yeah.
and they'll come. When we say,
Give me
"Give us 5
5 minutes.
minutes," at that 5 minutes, when we're finished, we need to go do what
Yeah,
we
that's
said.
the important part. Yeah, I agree with that. Other practical discipleship skills with screens would be like watching things with our kids, seeing what they're watching.
Yes, that was an example last night when y'all were watching
VeggieTales.
VeggieTales. I mean, everybody enjoyed that, so it brought back
I mean,
memories.
who doesn't love VeggieTales? Man, nostalgia right there. We were singing Where's My Hairbrush, the Larry's silly song. That was the best. And they loved it. They thought it was great. And also, like, pausing and asking questions while we're watching those videos. Like, whatever it is. Whether it's VeggieTales or a video of Toppers or Mr. Beast's. Like, if there's something that we're like, or even if we don't disagree with it, we could agree with it, just stopping it and be like, hey, do you understand what that means? Or like, do you see why
Ex-
this is bad?
Explaining it, yeah.
Explaining it to them because they don't know what they don't know. But again, we are supposed to be the disciple makers in our own family. And so rather than letting Topper or Mr. Beast disciple our kids, we need to be vigilant and
I feel like I do a pretty good job at that when I do watch videos and I see something that's wrong and I tell them to change it and I'll explain to them that this isn't, you should not be watching this or explain why.
or even asking like, hey, did you see what he did in that video?
Hmm.
Was that a good decision?
Yeah,
Why or why not? And letting them figure it out for themselves too. Because when we ask questions, they're
it starts to
it
scramble. Like, well, there's something wrong with that. Why? Why? You know?
yeah, and they internalize it more, and so they'll be more likely to remember like, hey, maybe that's not something I should be watching.
I can see that. Yeah,
Also, and asking the question like, what does this show say is the good life? You know, is money, fame, lots of
not sure why that
girlfriends?
song just popped up in my head.
Because it was on,
Was it last night?
yeah, it was at the restaurant.
Oh yeah, that's what you were singing. I was like, it
Mhm.
just instantly popped in my head.
But asking that type of question, like, what does this show say a good life is? Is it talking about money, fame, lots of girlfriends, boyfriends? Like,
That's like that teacher moment we had last night with Grant, because he kept deciding I want to be rich,
yeah,
and we were just like, why do you want to be rich? And he's like, rich would make me happy, and we explained to him, no, rich
no.
doesn't make you happy. It can if you do it the correct way, but not always because I
Mhm.
know the problems don't go away regardless of how much money you
Right,
have.
right.
But we had to teach Grant that it's not always about the money.
Also, he said something about he wasn't going to give his money to you, like you couldn't touch his
Oh yeah, I
money.
couldn't touch his money.
And I had to correct him and say, well, Grant, that's not very Christ-like. We're supposed to give our money away, not hoard it and
It's not
keep
our
it.
money.
It's not our money, it's God's money. But so teaching them wisdom, not just saying, don't watch that because it's bad, but
Teach
giving
them
them
why.
wisdom and teach them how to evaluate the show themselves. Give them discernment because they're learning discernment. That's a skill learned, right? We're not just born with that. We are those skills of how to discern what is right and wrong. So,
Proverbs 3:21-23. My son, do not let wisdom and understanding out of your sight. They will be life for you, then you will go on your way in safety.
yep, that's a good one. And then, of course, you've got Romans 12 too. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you will be able to test and prove that God's will is perfect, which is not the ESV
What is
version.
good and acceptable and perfect.
Yeah.
It's good, good, Joe. I'm terrible at memorizing scripture, so if you did a lot better than I did.
I only memorized that because of
Sports camp.
sports camp, but also I had it on the screen. So I'm not going to
Cheater.
I did cheat a little bit. Okay. Sorry. I'm sorry. So let's talk about building rhythms and how we can disciple our children despite screens being in the pictures. So like what are some ways we could do that? I would say tech-free meals. I have created the rule of no phones at the table.
True, that's a good one.
It doesn't always get enforced,
But you're pretty good at it, though.
but I'm working really hard to enforce that.
I would say no phone times after screen time. Or like TV time, I guess. Once the TVs go off, phones go down.
Well, I was also thinking, and I've been saying this the last few weeks, screen-free bedtime.
Hmm.
Like, I don't want them watching TV before bed.
Yeah, I'm bad about that myself.
Yeah,
So,
you definitely don't enforce that one. And
I'm
I'm trying to enforce it, but I really need you to get behind me on that one.
pretty
You
bad at
are,
that one.
you are, well, I'm not griping at you. I'm not griping at you, but
Yeah.
you are bad at that one.
I try to make up excuses why I do that. I shouldn't do it because like I said, the kids are watching.
And also I think this would be fun, having days where like Sabbath, where we just spend time as a family, like playing board games and like when we got the boys Jenga, they got Jenga in their Easter basket this year.
No, that's all they want to play.
And they want to play it all the time, and I love that. But I think we should have designated nights where we don't have the screens. We're really good at doing like family nights sometimes, like doing movie nights and stuff, which I don't think is a bad thing. I'm not saying we have to completely cut out all screens all the time for
No.
every designated family night, but
Like I said, it can be a useful tool.
yeah. But those would be some fun ideas. So this is probably more for the older kids. Like Grant's getting to this age where it's going to be, well, everyone has the phone. Everyone has the app.
He's already asked that.
Yeah, he has already asked for a phone and I've already told him no. He's not getting one until he's a lot older. We have like I've put some specific rules in place. Like for one, he has to be able to read.
True.
And then he has to be able to read and know how to read the Bible. And then, if he can read the Bible for himself and learn it and study it, and I'm not saying that I'm forcing him to do
You don't
it.
have to be a scholar.
Don't have to be a scholar. I said that.
Just read it.
But just read it. And I'm not forcing him to read it. He's going to have to learn how to read it on his own and not me hounding on him or you hounding on him.
Yeah.
But when he can do all of those things without us reminding him, then he can get baptized and then he can have the privileges of being a big kid. The girlfriend, the phone, when I can trust him with the little things.
Yeah. We also encourage the listeners too. If you have not read the Bible, I highly recommend it because I've noticed that when I first started Christianity, that there really wasn't that many people that have actually read the Bible.
I
Back.
believe everyone should read the Bible
Yeah, front to back.
daily, front to back. I believe you should do it chronologically at least once in your
At
life.
least once.
And
Not my
then
favorite, but
it's hard to get
it's
through.
hard. But
But yes, I believe everyone should learn how to study and read the Bible, and that's why I'm doing this. That's why I've started this ministry called the Bible Breakfast Club. But that is why I started this ministry is to help families in discipleship because our discipleship class at church that I take on Mondays that you took last year
I did take last year.
inspired me.
It's a very good class. Y'all should do it.
If you have a discipleship class, I also highly recommend. We're just highly recommending a lot of things today.
Well, it's been very useful,
But these are
helpful.
tools that can help guide you to disciple your own children, because this is a ministry in itself as being a parent. But this is why we built this ministry, the Bible Breakfast Club, because we wanted to help other parents help
Yeah,
teach their children.
and knowing that they don't have to or they didn't have to go to a seminary school or anything like that in order to do it.
Mm-hmm.
We're just normal
parents.
normal parents, just showing that we're all normal. Everybody does the same thing.
So instead of just when they ask those questions of everyone has this app or everyone has a phone, I need a phone. Don't just say yes or no, but why do you want it?
Yeah.
Asking questions is a big thing in discipleship.
Yeah, I can agree. Just still ask if it has a valid reason. Then I'll probably ask, how did you learn that valid reason? Where'd you get that from?
But like I said, we have specific rules in place where Grant's struggling to read right now, and we're kind of in this teeter-totter. He can read, he doesn't want to. And so he's not showing me that he can do it.
He can.
Even though I know he can, we know he can. And so I've told him, I was like, in order to have these other privileges, you have to do these responsibilities first. So learning how to read, doing your schoolwork, learning how to read the Bible and study the Bible on your own without us harping on you, like I said earlier. I want him to do it because he wants to do it, not because we are forcing it down his throat. But those are good things that can be instilled in our children, good boundaries to be instilled in our children that will give them motivation to get to do the fun things, to get to have the girlfriend, to get to have the phone, to get to be on the tablet. Those type things, because those are privileges. And those privileges have to be
Stewarded.
they have to be taken care of, because how are we supposed to trust him with a girlfriend when he's 16 if he doesn't know how to take care of her?
That's true. And having good, you say, foundation on
And
that.
and you, in order to have a good foundation and know how to take care of your girlfriend or boyfriend, you have to. I believe the Bible is a firm foundation for that.
Yeah, there's a song about that. It's a pretty good one.
Mm-hmm. But using every moment as a discipleship moment. Every time they say, well, everyone else has this, using that as a discipleship moment. When there's conflict over screen time, we get this right now at 4 and 6. The conflict over screen time is how much screen time they get. They don't like that they only get an hour a day.
Yeah, they don't. I know that they will try to push it.
Which we also don't let them have the iPad unless they're doing school.
Yeah, the iPad's only for school. Same thing with phones.
Their screen time is TV.
Yeah, they will not get my phone. They will not get Casey's phone. They will not get the laptop or the iPads unless it's for school.
Or there's like a special occasion where we just have no other choice and we need them to be quiet and still for a few minutes. But very rarely does that happen. I do not give in to that rule. Like, that is a firm boundary that we do not give into. But that's our main struggle right now, is just when I say it's time to turn off the TV, meltdowns, man. Meltdowns.
Yeah,
So
that's been big lately.
And I think for me, it's hard because it's a power struggle moment. I would just want to just yell and scream and be like, y'all, just listen. But instead, I need to turn it around and make it a discipleship moment.
Yes, I agree.
Explain why it's a rule, why we have this rule, why I believe that they need to go outside and play more than they sit there and watch TV. So that's on me, though. I will say that I tend to let my temper get the best of me sometimes.
We all fall short of that.
And I get frustrated really, really bad with
I think with me, the military's taught me to control that a lot more. You lose your temper a lot. The more leadership you become, or more responsibilities you get, you have to learn how to control that anger. I've had a lot of years of practice of doing it. So, but I still fall short of that. So we can learn how to control our emotions would be great.
Yeah. Well, and I'm working on that. I've told you that. Like, that's one of my things right now, is because Grant's had some big emotions. And so it's hard to learn how to regulate someone else's emotions when you don't even know how to regulate your own. or you're learning how to regulate your own. And for me, I'm learning how to regulate my own emotions. And so I'm, in spite of learning how to regulate my own, I'm also learning how to regulate his.
And my problem is I don't know how to teach you how to regulate it, and that's my
I
fault
don't think
too.
I need you to teach
No,
me. I
but
think
I
I
want to
need you
help.
to, I think, yeah, you want to help and you feel helpless because you don't know how to help. And I appreciate that. But I don't think that's where
Something,
I need you.
something you gotta learn. It's kind of one
It's
of the
just,
things when your kids go do something, and you're like, oh, they're probably going to hurt, but and you learn that lesson.
well, and again, okay, that goes into when they mess up or they do something that they're not supposed to. Leading with the conversation and not just punishing.
Yeah, that one's hard because I mean, what is it we're gonna do recently? He or does it quite a bit. He'll do something intentionally,
Mm-hmm.
and then afterwards he'll apologize for it.
Yeah.
And I had to explain to him when he does that. I'm like, you meant to do that. If you were sorry for what you did, you wouldn't have done it in the first place. And he,
We have to learn what being sorry truly means. At 6, he doesn't know what that truly means to be repentive and to be actually sorry. He just thinks that it's just saying I'm sorry. And that's also on us. It feels like I'm just
I know,
pointing out all the bad things that we do as
it's,
parents. We do some really good things.
we're pointing it all out, but that's like I said, that's the point of this podcast, though, is because we're not the only ones that do it.
Yeah,
So
again,
even because we're pointing out our issues,
we are laying out all our dirty laundry so you don't have to.
because we know you all do it too. So we're just
But we're
explaining.
aiming for growth, not guilt.
True, true. Well, it is growth when you air it out
Yeah, that's true.
instead of holding it in.
And so the goal isn't perfect screen habits. It's more of monitoring and limiting screen habits, building better rhythms within the family system, and making sure that we as parents are discipling our kids and not the screen. So the main goal is not to create perfect habits, it's to create good rhythms within the family. You're not going to be perfect every time. Life is going to happen. You're going to slip up. TV's going to get watched a little longer than 1 hour. They're going to find something on TV that they're not supposed to be watching. Or maybe we didn't know that that scene was on there. Maybe we thought that that was a good show and all of a sudden there's a two girls kissing scene. That
Yeah,
happened to me.
yeah,
And I'm like, holy moly, nope, we got to turn this off right now.
yeah.
And so those things happen. You know, we think something's good, and then it's not.
But at the same time, though, we have like we learned yesterday. Sometimes if you let them, if you disciple them correctly, I think we're doing a pretty good job. I think because yesterday we let the tablet open, and
Yeah,
then Grant came back with what he was watching. He was watching
he was on the Bible, the kids' Bible app.
kids Bible app. So without even us telling him to do that, he went straight to it.
But also during the slip up with the TV show where it was a cartoon, not naming it, it was a cartoon, and I have let him watch this cartoon a bunch of times,
Mm,
not even thinking about it because he
it was
loves it.
yeah.
And all of a sudden I walk in and I'm like watching two
Mm,
cartoon girls kiss.
pretty sure why that show got shut down.
And I'm like, oh, and Grant goes, Mom, that's not right.
Yeah.
He knew it wasn't right.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, Grant, that's not right. We don't do that. And I explained why we don't do that. God created male and female are supposed to be married and kiss. That's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. Maybe we'll do a topic on that. Maybe we won't. I don't know
But
yet.
according to Grant, though, we're only allowed to kiss on our anniversary.
That's true. But we did have the conversation of girls do not kiss girls on the mouth like that, and boys do not kiss boys on the mouth like that. It is wrong. It is sinful. And we turned off the show and we left it at that. And we have not watched that show since.
Mm.
And he knows not to ask for that show because he knows that it's wrong. So again, we're not here to get it perfect. We're not here to get everything right. We're here to rely on God, lean on Jesus to guide us because even as parents, we're going to make mistakes and he's our foundation for everything. But start small. It starts with one conversation at a time and it's intentional habits. So make sure you're intentional. Don't be lazy with it. I mean, I know it's so easy to go the lazy route. Just to let them do it. Just let them have the TV. Just let them watch whatever they want, or let them, it's okay. But no, we have to be intentional with it. So, because in the end, it's discipleship isn't about controlling them. It's not about controlling someone. It's about connecting with them and them having a connection with God, a relationship. It's all about relationship. So that's what shapes our kids and our family, the family dynamic most.
I agree. I agree 100%.
So I hope that gives our listeners and our viewers some encouragement. I hope that they can take away that they're not the only ones in this struggle bus, that we're all out here struggling together, trying to learn how to disciple our children the best we know how.
It's like our intro video. It's a bit chaotic.
It's a bit chaotic, but there's going to be lots of questions, and there's beautiful moments along the way. So it's hard work, but there are so many beautiful moments, and I see them now as we continue to be in the trenches of. But
you also remember to step, like you said, step back and see those moments. Take the time to see those moments. Yeah. You will miss them if you keep the screen time, and then you'll look back and like, oh man, I remember that. I didn't pay attention to that.
Yeah, but again, I hope this encourages everyone, and that they can take away something from this video, this podcast, and be able to disciple their children in a new way. That is all for today. We will see y'all next time. Bye, guys.
See ya.
Thanks for sitting with us. Wherever you are, whatever your day looked like, however you showed up, you made it here. Same table, same time. No pressure, no expectations, just presence. You're always invited.